want to be side, 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 side. So first we be glad.
RM just took the wind out of my sails. Hello there, lobbles, gibbles, spluns, and not to mention flibble blobs, of course. Welcome to my channel. My name is Comedian, sadly, and I'm back reacting to RM's mono playlist. Actually, just recorded my reaction to Seoul. That's just kind of, I feel like the pronunciation is between Seoul and Seoul, but there's in a way that's too nuanced for someone as white as I am to really nail down. But regardless, that song was incredible. It was one of my favorite songs I've heard in a long time. So yeah, I guess Moonchild has a lot to live up to. It does have a lyric video, which is cool. There's more to talk about. But before I get down to all of that stuff, I just want to thank you for existing and boosting my view count by clicking, presumably, which I guess you would have had to do to see this. I'm not crazy. I'm not talking to myself. There's people on the other end of this camera. Anyway, so yes, thank you for existing and all that stuff. Thanks for clicking. If you aren't subscribed yet, please do check out my Patreon as well if you want. I've got 6 BTS run reactions on there, which you can get access to for $1 and 1 10-cent piece and 1 cent piece, $1.11 basically, and a Discord as well. That's all in the description. Check it out. But for now, the most important thing is sit back, relax, and maybe listen to me talk about a 4-minute song for another half an hour again. Let's see. There is no sound. Shall I be worried? Did I click mute? Please tell me it's just part of the video. Oh, don't mess with me like that, RM. You know, I've got a whole setup here going. It's not a great one, but I've got a camera, I've got a mic, I've got recording software, I've got people in lab coats watching me through a window. There's lots of stuff going on, and when there's silence for 10 seconds, I start having a heart attack. Another very cool atmospheric start. This is a cool video. Guess I don't need the lyrics. Let's go back a bit. Okay, this is what I don't think I expressed this very well, but this is what I meant in the first song when I was like, I was saying how it was funny that he was like extending his vowels. It sounded a bit like, you know, Nickelback in like 2004 or something. I'm well aware, I don't think I phrased it very well, I'm well aware that it's not his like Korean pronunciation. Like his English is immaculate and his pronunciation is very different in this song, you know? So I just want to clarify that. This is cool, like he's doing like, it's almost like a kind of auto-tune rapper style. And I'm not saying that like a diss. Anyone who thinks that's a diss is, you know, is small-minded, I think, really, because auto-tune has a place in music, just like everything does, just like electronic production does, just like dubstep does. He said as a dubstep kid, you know, it's musical and it can be used to great effect. I really like the vibe with the heavy auto-tune, and this lyric video is so cool. Man, I wish I had these skills. Look at this. I'm a video nerding here. There should be a video editor reacts. Oh, I'm video editor. Hello everyone. Welcome to my nerd brain. But look at this. There's a little magical like Nintendo twirl, you know, like a princess twirl in the background, and the music twirls with it. Right here. Right here. So cool. Wait. We're born to be. I told it. I called it in the first video. Check the notes. Check the liner. I said this is Korean sad boy music. I was spot on. First we be glad. RM just took the wind out of my sails. Like, I was so upbeat after that last song because I connected it so hard, and now he's basically described me in a nutshell, and I don't like it. I don't like being exposed like this, RM. But I don't know if he's trying to apply this to like, I feel like he's talking about a certain kind of person that he identifies with. I mean, if that's what he's saying, then I am a Moonchild, you know? Although I still think that's something that's in flux, that's something that's not guaranteed. I would like to believe that in the future I will be happy again. I had vast periods of my life where I was happy. I took happiness for granted so much as a kid that I never thought it would go away. But it probably has been like almost 10 years now of not really being that happy. But, I'm happy enough. Like, I don't want people to worry about me. Like, I'm fine. But, I remember what it was like to be like properly happy. And obviously that's not something you can have all of your life. Although I do know people who are their son children, I guess. Like, I know people who, it's a lot of it comes down to genetics and brain chemistry, and it's important to talk about because people need to know there's nothing wrong with them. But I know people who they're happy all the time, and part of me resents them, but most of me is happy for them as much as I can feel that feeling. I'm happy for you guys. If you're happy all the time and you don't have to work on that much, then good for you. That's how it should be, really. I mean, no one's happy consistently. People shouldn't have to fight for happiness, but it is what it is. We can't control reality, sadly, or at least the methods in which you can do so are usually illegal. But yeah, like once I started latching on to what the song is about, I was like, oh man. Yeah, I'm in a period of my life where it feels like I was born to be sad, or at least neutral. Maybe Moonchild is too strong for me. Maybe I'm more of a half Moonchild, or what's between the sun and the moon? Atmosphere. I'm the atmosphere child. I don't know. That's not quite as catchy, but boy, is this incredible! Like, wow.
Ain't no fantasy, can't breathe in the sunlight. Gotta hide your heart when you want to be sad.
I feel this so hard. We're not born in the sunlight. We have to hide our heart. And although I am very much an advocate for, and it's like, I think it's like RM himself said, speak yourself. I think he said, I'm an advocate for expressing yourself and talking about your reality. It's like, I don't know if this is a bad thing or maybe it should change, but like you don't want to be a downer, you know what I mean? And sometimes you just want to fit in. So although like I very much advocate for telling people how you feel and being people like, just so you know, the reason I don't laugh at your jokes as much isn't because I think, I'm some high-end mighty funny guy. It's because my brain is a little bit broken, which again is a joke I say, which I shouldn't because, it's not. I don't want to like equate mental health to issues to having a broken brain. That's not how it is, and if it is that way, then it's science's fault for not having fixed it yet. But there are times in life when I just kind of go along to fit in, because it's like, if someone makes a joke and I conceptually know it's funny, I know how jokes work, I'd like to think, and if I don't, then I have been wasting the last 10 years of my life or so. But, I know how jokes work. Someone says something and my brain is like, that conceptually is funny. I didn't really feel like the good feelings you should feel, but I'm going to like laugh because it would be rude not to. And because also it would identify me as like a freak. Either they would think this person is mean, or like this person is petty and doesn't want to laugh, or they'd think this person doesn't have a sense of humor. And those are things you don't want to like be associated with. And that goes so much more deeper than that. Like that experience of like kind of knowing you should be feeling emotion, expressing them anyway, is, I'm sure a lot of you can identify with that. And it's more like a survival tactic. And it's like, you like sometimes in life you just need to fit in. It's exhausting sometimes not fitting in sometimes, but then sometimes making yourself fit in is just as exhausting. Oh man, like this song is gonna really beat my brain up. Suffer to be glad. Wow. Suffer to be glad.
Come on.
It's that's what it feels like. Like for certain people, we have to work so hard to be like, like I wake up thinking like, okay, like what's today on like me trying to achieve happiness? Like, okay, I gotta work out more, I've got to eat better. Some people don't have to worry about any of this stuff. I'm like, work out more, eat better, take the medication, spin around 3 times and say Hail Mary, stand in the bucket of eels. There's lots of stuff. Oh.
You want my life is like this. We got a dance in the rain, dance in the pain. Here when we crash down, we gon' dance in the plane.
Oh, okay, there is some Korean, and I guess it's reasonable they would just put it in Korean in the lyric video. That's fair. So I'll keep the subtitles on, I guess, even though it's going to look a bit messy. Or maybe I'll just switch it around. These are decisions I should have before this in the boardroom that is my head. I shouldn't invite you guys to these meetings. I love this. God dancing.
Dance in the rain, dance in the pain. Here when we crash down, we gon' dance in the plane.
Oh, he earns title Rap Monster. Like he's spitting here like that. Look at that pronunciation, the quickness in his non-native language. Don't forget. This is exactly what I was talking about. Even though we crash down, we're gonna dance in the plane. Like even though even though we live a life that feels like we're crashing, that feels like, I think that is another aspect to it as well, and this goes into anxiety or something, or maybe but like, I think a big part of not being happy is I haven't really felt at peace in a long time. Like, if I sit down on the couch and relax, my brain is racing, like, there's a lot that goes into this, but it's kind of like a constant sense of dread, like a sense of unease. Like, it's like, I don't know, maybe if I hit like 1 billion subscribers and I'm making more money than you can shake a stick at or whatever, I'll stop worrying so much about stuff. I don't know where my worries come from. It might just be the way I am. It might be this broken capitalist society we live in, but I don't know. I just, like when I was like in college, I was very much able to feel a sense of peace. I could sit down and just relax, whereas now that feels impossible. But regardless, even though it does feel like the plane is crashing, we still dance in the plane. We still dance in the aisles. Like, that's very much true. I still try and get as much happiness as I can out of life. I still do dance sometimes, quite literally, figuratively. I still dance. I still try and do fun activities. I still see friends and stuff. Like, I still try and live my life to the fullest within the confines of how I feel. I mean, these lyrics, mwah. Oh, only I could. This is one of those songs where I have to stop after every lyric. That's a very BTS thing, that is. Only I could console myself, not nobody else. See, my brain auto-corrects the dodgy translations because I just ignore the not there. But anyway, only I could console myself, nobody else. Like, yeah, there are times when even my closest friends, the people I love most in this world, like, I'm just like, I'll just be honest. I'll just be like, guys, I need. You can't help me right now. Like, this is a me thing. I got to sit here and feel these feels. That's how it is. Love that. This is what annoys me when, I can't remember if I talked about this in the other video or this video. Maybe it was the other video for Seoul, but when people act pretentious about BTS, or they, I've seen people on Reddit describe it as like, oh, imagine like being, I don't know, older than 16 and liking BTS, cringe. It's like, you're out of your mind. You're out of your, like, listen to this song and say that stuff. Listen to this song and say that. Like, this is so important. Like, musically, it's a great song. Sure, fine, BTS are good musicians. Like, that's almost like, that's not really what I'm worried about BTS. Like, the lyrics is what I'm here for. This is incredible, and it's so important. And if they're delivering this message, and if their fan base is mostly like, teenagers or something, or mostly young people, great. Young people need to hear this. We're the people that may be most open to this thing. Like, I'm still counting myself as young. Why not? You're only as young as you feel, as they say. But this is a message I wish I would have heard when I was even younger. I'm glad I have the sentiment and then like the perspective on mental health that I do now, but I wish I would have had it even earlier. It's never too early to know this stuff, especially because I was lucky to not have to deal with mental health stuff really until I was like, well, I guess that's a bit of a misnomer. It's like, because I had struggles in my childhood. Like, I had, very difficult relationship with my parents and kind of stuff. But as far as like mental health, the actual like ability to be happy was much more easy for me to come by until I was probably like 17, 18 or something like that. I don't know. Like, but there's people I know who feel intense depression, like younger than that, sometimes even like really young children. So it's never too early to hear this. It's never too early to hear this. When I have kids, I'm definitely going to teach them all about mental health. They're going to be sick of the subject. But this, like, what RM is doing here is so important. And now I understand exactly why in the other comments people said, like, I love this playlist, it means so much to me, that the song Moonchild means so much to me. Like, I get it now. I absolutely get it. Like, this is so important what he's saying here. You shine when you rise. I also feel that because I stay up too late sometimes. Ooh, this is such a cool video. I honestly, I could break down this video as video editor and spend half an hour talking about it. The lyrics, I could spend half an hour talking about it. The music, probably, because this is, the beat was cool before, but this bit is epic. I rarely cry. I've talked about this in the past. It's hard for me to cry. I have like anhedonia, suppressed emotions, but this is making me tear up, at least conceptually. Not enough to maybe see it, even with the 4K, but I'm feeling I'm feeling teary right now.
죽고 싶다며 그만큼 넌 또 열심히 살아고 싶다며 또 다른 줄을 달아 생각하지 마.
Wow, it's got even heavier.
나도 절대 한 번도 떠나지지가 않아.
I left but could never get to leave once. That's so... Whoa. I left as in what? Like I left a plane of reality, but I can't actually get to leave, like, peacefully. You say you want to die, but live it much harder. So interesting. Again, the translation's a bit off here, but I'm seeing this as like kind of like, you know, maybe you feel like sometimes you don't want to be alive, which for the record, like I don't really have that problem. Like I feel like sometimes my fans are like, are you okay? Because of mental health a lot. I don't really ever have suicidal ideations, you know, like I guess I'm lucky in that regard. But I completely understand where that comes from, you know, like it's not like I've never thought about, you know, living versus dying or something, but I've never felt... Anyway, like I should put a trigger warning on this video because, you know, these are intense topics. I'll try and remember that when I'm editing it in the front. But obviously a lot of people who are moon children who have these mental health issues, you know, do suffer with, you know, suicidal ideations or thoughts of that. But so it's a very interesting lyric. It's very deep, but you know, the idea of like, you say you want to die, but your life is actually, but you're living much harder. That's the way I'm reading it, which is interesting. It's an interesting play on words. It's a very, very dark subject, but it doesn't mean it shouldn't be talked about. If anything, it should be talked about more. You say you want to let go, but put on another weight. Love the duality, getting the wordplay here. There's so many ways to view this. Like I know people who say like, you know, like, oh, I need to, like, you know, I've taken on too much stuff. Like I have friends who are ADHD and they're like, I have too many, you know, I've taken too many responsibilities. And then next week they've taken another thing on. I'm just like, why are you doing that? Like some people, it's almost like self-destruction, you know, like the human mind is fascinating. Let's put it that way. Okay, every line is brilliant. Thinking of not thinking at all is, again, this translation not so great. Let's put it this way: thinking of not thinking is still thinking. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant lyricism and a brilliant point to make. It's so true, so valid. I mean, there's different ways to read this as well, and not thinking at all could be thinking of death is still thinking. But whatever it is, I mean, that could even be, you know, sometimes like I sit and think about how I don't feel, which is still technically feeling. I mean, you know, let's put it this way. The human mind is complex. RM is a genius. That's what I can extrapolate from that line. This is really dark, and it's not afraid to embrace that because it's interesting. Like, I hope there's like a knot tied in it, or like, because it's like, because I guess saying something is destiny could be seen as positive, but to me it's kind of I feel like I have to believe that I will be happy again one day because it just makes it easier. And it's not like I'm like, if I'm never happy again, I would have lied to myself, I would have wasted my life. Like, you know, life is what you make of it to a certain extent, you know, and you have to get on with it in a way. But I think saying like, oh, it's your destiny to be sad, that's almost like RM giving in to the darkness, because, you know, if you start believing it's your destiny to be sad, then it's like, I feel like it's that much harder to get out of it, because mental health is obviously a complex balance between brain chemistry and you know, and subconscious brain chemistry and self brain chemistry and like your own kind of thoughts and feelings. This is dark, but good. Smiling in endless pain. It's, you know, like I'll look at pictures of myself and I'm smiling and I'll be like, you know, I didn't feel that smile. Not all pictures, like I'm not trying to sound completely, you know, depressive. Like it's not like I never have feelings. It's just, you know, complicated. But I relate to this line. I relate to all of these lines.
Do you know?
This is so deep, it's gone over my head, I think. This is amazing. A lot of thorns on that street light too. It's so interesting. There's something about the imagery there. Street light cutting through the darkness, but the light is actually thorns. Like he's saying, you know, you're a moonchild, the darkness is for you. The light is the bad thing. This really is embracing that sad boy thing. I mean, I feel like I'm actually getting this, which is a relief. Like, well, again, because it speaks to me, but the duality in this song, there was a strong duality in the other song, and a strong duality, by other song I mean Soul, it's a strong duality in this song between like Moonchild, Sunchild. Like he really is drawing a contrast between like, you know, these are the people that live in the sun, they feel happy, we are the people that feel sad, you know, maybe we're more drawn towards the night, we feel more alive at night, whatever it is. And I love the contrast, like how, look close at that blinking light for once, I guess it's like maybe a plane, but this bit, a magnificent sight of somebody's fawns, like a cruel thing, being reminded that this is your sunshine, the street lamps is your darkness ruining, like, you know, your space, your safe space. But on the inverse, the darkness is somebody else's fawns. The street, you know, the darkness is their street lamps, and the street lamps is their, like, their good thing. Like, it's amazing imagery. But I like this as well because it's like saying we complement each other, you know, you need a light that's in the dark. So if you're ever looking at that and you're like, that's sad, know that somebody else will think that's good. You don't have to tell me, RM. It's very hard for me to cry. Even with this song. It's so funny I'm listening to this song today because last night I made a proper effort to go to bed early. Because like there's this thing where I'm very, very productive, or I can be, at like 12 p.m. plus. Like I can't tell you the amount of times for this channel I've stayed up editing videos until 3, 4 a.m. to get them up for the next day, and just, you know, and because I just get more productive at that time. But then always it's like, you know, I sacrifice 3 hours of the next day, but then I lose like 8 hours. You know, the next day I feel terrible. So I'm really trying to not be a moonchild. I'm trying to like get to bed earlier. So it's funny that I'm now listening to this. It's a really cool lyric video as well. Didn't do it justice because the lyrics are just stealing the show, as they rightfully should. But I love this video. Ooh, and some bass. I'll always love some bass. What a brilliant outro. It's like, you don't need to say anything else, he said it all. I mean, what is there to add? Just the vibes for the outro. That was amazing. That was amazing. I can't tell if I like that one or Soul more. I'll have to listen to them again. But wow, it's interesting because the first song, which was Mono, I didn't hate it, but it was just more of like a kind of, you know, just fine song for me. So I wasn't expecting, and like now I understand why Mono, why people are recommending it so much, and why people were like, you have to listen to the whole thing, because those last two songs were incredible and just amazing. Like I think my respect for RM's talent as a lyricist and everything, as a rapper, has just doubled because of those two songs. Like, you know, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, every member of BTS is so talented, but when you have individual members with this much talent, it's like, I don't know how you can criticize them as a band, but whatever. Anyway, I really think I've probably said all I can say about that song. It's incredible. I really hope you enjoyed that journey with me. I hope you enjoyed my reflections on it. Sorry if I talked about anything that was, you know, too dark or anything. Don't forget, we're all in this together, and I feel like I'm building a community of nice people. I have a Discord. You can talk to people in there. There's like an Off My Chest channel in there. You can talk to stuff on here. I try and reply to as many comments as I can. Hope you're all doing fantastic. To all my Moonchilds and Sunchilds and everything in between childs, don't forget to check out my Patreon for Run BTS reactions. If you want something, you know, the equivalent of like BTS Eye Bleach, something more upbeat after something like this, don't forget to subscribe and all that stuff. Don't forget, like I said, we are all in this together. So whether you shine in the moon or the sun, we all come together as one. You can have that for your next song, RM, except you shouldn't because it's crap. So anyway, wow, I'm gonna be emotionally reeling for a while, so not much else to say, but oh yeah, and remember, if you like my reaction to a song that deep, then click the subscribe button. Don't be a creep. I'm done. No more reactions today. I'm done.